welcome to another episode of Doomsday Doopy Doo, New Year's Eve episode. That's right, this show's coming out New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year. I'm Nick. I'm here with Chris.
Yep, this is Chris.
How's it going?
What's up, Nick?
How the holidays treat you?
It's been a marathon, man.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. I guess I told you, I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to, get back to normalcy. It's been a nice time off, but, too much of anything.
Yeah. It's been a lot of partying, too.
Yeah.
Too many partying. Too many parties. Too many partying. We have, if this show sounds a little different, I got a new audio program. I'm going to try and dress it up. We're going to do a couple things. We're going to try and stay on mic a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the software called Reaper. Reaper. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've listened to I watched one or two tutorials too so far. So I'm a professional now.
You're a professional.
Yes.
Okay. You're a professional Reaper?
I'm a professional, yeah. 2 YouTube videos in.
Okay.
And I know everything now.
You're certified. I'm
certified. They give you a test. He sent me a thing in the mail. I hit like and I subscribed, so I'm definitely a professional.
Cool.
So I wanted to get that out of the way because it may sound drastically different. So I wanted to say it up front before we start talking too much.
Drastically different, better or drastically different, worse?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm hoping better.
Okay.
Yeah. And okay, so back to Christmas.
But if it's worse,
what?
Let us know.
Well, we'll know too when we listen to it.
Yeah, I guess you're
right.
We'll
just know how shitty it is.
We probably nitpick it more than anybody else, anyway.
Maybe, yeah. Though your brother-in-law said sometimes he screams at the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Is that me?
No, that's me. Sorry.
He tells me, telling us that he can't hear us.
Yeah.
This is probably not a good thing.
Yeah, well, my brother-in-law's a whack job. He screams at the radio anyway. So.
All right.
But yeah, I know that episode because at times I couldn't hear myself, and I was like, "What did I say?" So, must not have been important.
Yeah, and if it's not important, we're just not going to fill you in.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it was secret.
So Chris brought a bottle of Lagavulin 16-year-old, which we are presently enjoying. Super smooth, super good, man. This is good stuff.
It is amazing. Yeah, it's really good. So I figured I would share that with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you bringing it by, even though it's mostly empty.
Well, I saved some though. It's a thought that
you made it halfway to the label almost.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I gotta save. I forgot to save some for Nick. I shared it with all the other people that I enjoy hanging out with, so I saved some for you. So we did like a third and a third and a third.
Two-thirds of a fifth.
Yeah, but my brother-in-law who bought the bottle got some of the first 2/3. Well, I guess I did too. Right. Actually, I got some of all 3/3.
All three, right? Because you're having the last third of the fifth now.
And I was invited to the other thirds.
Who was invited?
The first time was my brother-in-law and I, which was like when he first came out. We went out and smoked a cigar a couple days before Christmas, and then my father-in-law and my brother-in-law and I on Christmas Eve while we were grilling one of the 7,000 fishes. That were going out.
It's supposed to be 7.
Yeah, there must have been. There was at least 12. I don't know if that 12? Does it make them better Catholics? I don't know because I'm not a Catholic, so
I don't know. You're not. What are you?
I'm agnostic.
You said you're agnostic. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. But we still try and have the 7 fish.
Which is funny though because everybody who pushes the 7 fishes, I don't know the last time they've gone to church,
and I don't even know what the 7 fish are. So,
and if you try to say let's make prime rib, they go it's a sin. It's a sin.
On Christmas Eve, you can't have prime rib.
Why
that
not?
Is a sin.
Why not?
Because it's just a sin.
Only if you're Catholic, though.
No, I mean, it's just a sin in general order of things.
Okay, shit.
No, I mean,
nobody told me.
Yeah, no. That's very disruptive.
Disruptive to whom?
Just the fabric of the universe. You can't have prime rib on Christmas Eve. That's Christmas Day. If you have prime rib on Christmas Eve, what do you have on Christmas Day?
Prime rib.
Leftover prime rib?
No, it's a different prime rib.
A different prime rib.
I don't know. It doesn't have to be prime rib.
You can't have rib and then rib. It's too much ribs.
It is, but that's the only time you have prime rib. When have you ever had, other than Christmas, when do you have prime rib?
I have it sometimes. You don't have prime rib sometimes and treat yourself to prime rib?
No. No.
I guess not the roast. I get the steak. You don't get a rib steak?
I mean, maybe if I go to a really nice restaurant and they have some prime rib special that's like really gets, but I don't think I would. I wouldn't cook it myself, and I prefer to cook most of my own meat. I'm kind of like a grilling snob that way.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't usually.
That's
and
weird.
and it's once a year is kind of enough. It's a big fatty piece of it's
Really?
good. Yeah, I think prime rib once a year is
man.
enough.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on
Okay,
that.
that's fine.
So Christmas was tiring.
Yeah.
And all I know is, well, you got putting the shit together. You had a lot of shit to put together.
It wasn't bad. Mostly it was the unboxing like stuff,
Yeah,
and
lots
then
of
the
boxes.
mountain of cardboard, right?
Yep, the cardboard and the cuts on finger cuts on
Yeah,
the plastic.
yeah.
I'm got like this gash over here that I can't make a fist. And then the PlayStation VR, Nicholas got that. We put that together. They're like no instructions. They're like zero. It's set up the camera. And that's what it said. That was one of the instructions. Set up the camera. I'm like, well, what the fuck? The motion controllers I fought with for 45 minutes before I realized they don't pair unless you plug them into the PlayStation. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's the initial pairing, and then it will remember them after the first pairing.
Right. Yeah. Didn't know that.
It's the same thing with the hand controllers, though.
Was it?
Yeah, you have to pair them via USB.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, well, it's because it was way back when you first bought it.
I guess it was so long ago.
It was
I
like,
didn't-
right.
And maybe the instructions were better.
It's all a blur.
And fucking, we got to do something as a society about passwords, man. It's fucking driving me fucking crazy. So Nicholas wants to stream. Excuse me. I got scotch in my throat and in my lungs. And he wants to do, what's it called? Mixer?
Okay.
You know what Mixer is?
Is that like Twitch?
It's like a Twitch, but it's Microsoft that runs it.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right. So he's got a capture card for the PlayStation so he could stream his things because you can't go PlayStation straight to Mixer. It's built in Xbox, but not in PlayStation. We also have all that shit going on where everybody's building their shit in these little silos, and then nothing talks to each other anymore, even though it's fucking going to be 2020. And then, and I got a Surface Pro, which then it asks you for a username and a password, and it asks you for a Microsoft account. Then you give it the Microsoft account, and then you don't realize that then now that's it. Like you've just stepped into some sort of small hell where now this thing is your Microsoft account, and there's no kind of escaping it. So if you go to anything else and it says sign in using Microsoft, even if you have 3 or 4 Microsoft accounts, if you click that button, it's associated with your main account, and then you have to figure out if to go through, I don't know how many hoops to unlink the shit. So anyway, he wants to go Mixer. So I get him on Mixer. I go try and get him on Mixer. I didn't know this, that my computer was going to be somehow tied to this web service. So I go and I sign. It says use Microsoft account. I was like, oh, good. I'll make a Microsoft account for Nicholas. I hit the button, joins me. Gives me a gamer tag. It sets me up just because I said click the button to use a Microsoft account. And all of a sudden, I'm in. In some ways, okay, that's probably a feature.
Okay, yeah.
As opposed to a bug. I saw it as a bug because don't fucking ask me. I didn't say to use this account. This is maybe my personal account. I don't want my son just dragging this thing around all over. Anyway, I'm paranoid. I got like a junk email account and I have a real one. Mm-hmm. So go through the hoops of fucking unlinking that thing. Finish that. Sign in on Nicholas's account on the same computer. Go to do that, says that I think it linked me again. So then I'm going to unlink myself again. Then I said, I removed my account from his computer entirely, and then I go and create a whole new separate account. And then I have to, am I a robot? Am I not a robot?
Pick all the intersections. Find all the storefronts.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a fucking fire hydrant. I can't. Nicholas? Is this a fire hydrant? This looks like a fire hydrant. I'm hitting fire hydrants. Then the buses. Is this a bus? I don't know. It could be a bus. Then they put there's fucking minivans there. Now, if you see if I'm picking out buses and you see a minivan,
I would say that's a bus.
but well, it fucking wasn't. I'm like, this could be a bus. You know, they could sometimes they rent these vans out as buses.
You know what though? I was reading something about artificial intelligence, and there's a very fine line between minivan and bus. I'm hearing robots cannot differentiate between a cargo van and a minivan, and so I think they're using it as the tipping point. He's obviously a robot because he doesn't know the difference.
Right. Well, I'm smashing buses and fire hydrants on the screen. I'm swearing to the thing. I'm not a robot. They're sending me codes to my fucking email. I'm going to my email. They're texting me on my phone. Press this. It used to just be you create an account, put in your email address, put in a fucking password. Then they said, right, verify it on email. Okay, I could deal with that. But now, if I'm picking out buses and fire hydrants and bicycles and crosswalks, and then I'm still verifying via fucking email, and then you're sending me, you're texting me a fucking code, and then I do all this, right? And then I finally hit okay, and it's spinning. I'm like, okay, good. Now he's gonna get. This user's too young for Mixer.
Oh Jesus!
It makes me do all that. Then it tells me that. Then I try it again, making him older. Kind of game the system. Remove that account because now that account now it's like Microsoft's like now looking over at like Big Brother like 1984. It's like, oh, I know how old you are, and then so like I'm trying to just go, all right, well no, let me try a different account. And Microsoft's like, no, you use that computer. You had a 12-year-old using that computer. You can't use that computer anymore for our service. You got to wait 5 years. You know, so I'm trying to game the operating system into stopping to thinking that Nicholas is 12 years old, make him 13, which was fucking stupid on my part. Like I didn't want to lie too much, so I just lied a little, and went through the whole process. I picked out 3, 4, 5 fire hydrants and like 2 old ladies, and then the next thing I know, still too young, and I just said, you know what, Nicholas, you're using fucking Twitch.
Yeah.
And that was a small headache in itself, but someone's we gotta do something about passwords. It's getting ridiculous.
You know, it is a pain in the ass, and then you have to use a strong password. So like I have certain passwords that are pretty strong that I use for almost everything. But then the minute you have to go back and change it because something you forget or whatever,
right? You
can't use the same fucking password again.
Well, I'm typing the fucking password in. Typing it in. Nope. All right, fucking reset my password. Reset the password. Go to put in the fucking password, but you can't use one.
Can't use it again. Yeah, exactly.
Well, wait a minute.
Not just partially. You can never use that password.
I can never use it again. That's my go-to password. Yes. I can't fucking use it.
It's crazy, dude.
And if I use that password, then how come it wasn't working fucking before? And then you do that 2, 3 times. Now you're afraid because you're doing it. I'm like, oh God, please be the password. I'm going to get the buses again.
But you can't.
I'm a fucking traffic lights. Is this a fucking traffic light? This is the pole that was holding the traffic light. The pole is in there. Do I select the pole because it was holding a traffic light?
No, they actually said traffic lights.
Yeah, but the pole is part of the traffic light?
Here's the problem, Nick. You're too smart for that test. You're too smart for that test. Do you know why?
There's a portion of the base.
You're nuking it.
I'm nuking what?
You're nuking it, dude.
What do you mean? I'm supposed to press all the boxes?
No.
That would be nuking.
Only the traffic lights.
Right. No, but what happens?
But not the pole. The traffic lights.
Just the traffic lights. Okay.
What if a traffic light? Smart. That's not a test for you.
Okay.
Because you're thinking about it too deep.
All right. So the traffic light's the yellow thing, and you got the red and the yellow and the green. All right. So now they take the picture, and the red and the yellow and the green are in one frame, but there's a little bit of yellow in the frame next to it.
Then just do the traffic light.
No, part of the traffic light
thinking about it too much.
Is in the other fucking box. You don't check that box and you get past this thing?
Yeah. I'm not a robot. I clicked a little checkbox too that says I am not a robot.
Well, I thought that used to be
robots
enough.
Can't. It's also a well-known fact. So 2 things we learned about artificial intelligence and robots today. 1, they cannot differentiate between a minivan and a cargo van. And also number 2, they cannot check a checkbox.
They cannot check checkboxes.
They do not have the mental capability. They don't even see the checkbox.
Well, no, but they must have learned it because when I hit that checkbox, I still had to fucking find the crosswalks.
Sometimes they make you do it multiple times.
Okay, so there's a crosswalk going across the picture, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right. and you see the crosswalk in 3, but in the last cell there's a car obscuring the crosswalk, but you know it goes there.
You're getting into philosophical questions. If you don't see the
It's not
crosswalk,
a
is it
philosophical
there?
question.
Is the
crosswalk
crosswalk
goes there?
But is it there if you don't see it?
Well, that's
See?
an existential question,
Robots cannot handle those kinds of questions.
right? So that's what I thought the real test is.
I don't know.
I'm looking at it going, oh, they think I'm just going to select the white lines. I'm going to show them I'm not a fucking robot because I'm going to show them the inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning. I'm going to show them my deductive reasoning skills that this thing, I know this thing goes over here because I see the curb on the other side. And it's no way that this crosswalk stops in the middle of the street. Even if there's a car blocking it, I know it's there. And I'm clicking it, and it's... I guess that's why I'm not getting past it.
You know something, though? You're the guy who blows himself up when he gets the test and goes, pick all of the correct answers. And you're like, but that's more correct. But is that also correct? Is it correct? And you're just clicking A, B, C. It's all of them. How come there's not an all the above or none of the above?
Right.
I'm like, what am I? Yeah.
I failed tests all the time because of shit like that.
Think about it too much.
Yeah, where the teachers would say the sentence, but would not put a comma in the right place. And I go, well, technically... based on your phrasing here, it could mean that this, and this, and they would just look at me, like I can't wait to fucking give you an F on your test.
I was the guy too that when you would get the test and they would have you make corrections to the test, like things are spelled incorrectly, or like you said,
they would have you make corrections.
Make a correction here because people would complain about it. And then I'm correcting a test with a number 2 pencil, and you're like, if it's not already corrected on your test booklet, make this change on question 7. This should say this, and I'm like.
Oh, like when they give you the test and they realize they've screwed up?
Something's messed up, yeah. And people have complained about the test after the fact because something was grammatically incorrect or implied something or whatever. And people just being a fucking pain in the ass.
But that's bullshit.
What's bullshit? What part is bullshit?
That the teacher can get to do that.
Well, it shows. I would say at the IRS, I go, this test is flawed.
Right.
How can this test me when the test is flawed before we even pick it up?
Right.
What else is wrong?
Right. So... if you're going to, take 10 points off of me for my incorrectness, then you got to add those points back on your fucking...
You're right. I should get 10 points.
It's bullshit.
Starting. I get my name on the test. That's like 50 points, right? And then
she had one job to do, or he had one job to fucking make the test and fucking run spell check on the fucker before you print it out for your students.
Read through it. Just say, does this make sense? Because this doesn't make any fucking sense. And now you got me fixing it, and this is supposed to make it okay.
Right, and then they make you fix it. That's really even more fucked up.
Or you're right. But it's fixed with pencil. Some other idiot fixed it, maybe. So now I'm looking at some work and I'm going, well, is this fixed correctly or not? Because this dummy, he might have fixed it wrong.
You fucking lost me.
Well, so she says, take your pencil and make these changes to the question.
Right. So how do you not know who fixed it?
If it's not already changed, right? Because the guy before you was supposed to change it, right? But
you guys are doing
multiple people taking the same tests. They use the same test booklets. So they're like, oh, make this change. Especially happened in the Navy a lot. They're like, oh, here, make these changes if it's not made. And she would go through it. I'm like, wait a minute. If I didn't look, some other idiot did this wrong, I could totally fuck this. That's why I'm like, this is flawed.
So you mean to tell me that the test booklet gets fixed by someone who's using it for the first time, and then that same test booklet is reused because they don't want to print new ones?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. There's a finite. There's nobody wants to create.
That's never happened.
There's like 5 tests for every class. They just rotate them around.
And that's never happened to me.
You never gotten that? Maybe it's a military thing. I don't know. I thought it was cheesy, and I pointed it out, and they said, "Shut up."
Shut up. Fuck you.
You don't get to point out the inconsistencies in the system.
No,
Shut up.
No, yeah.
Take the fucking test.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna read yours extra closely.
Right. The government's not gonna print things multiple times.
No. Well, no. I'm sure they moved.
They only buy $400 hammers.
Yeah. But they overpay for everything else and put no effort into the test writing. I was like,
yeah, I mean, I would, if I'm telling you right now, if I was fixed the test, I would fuck it up. Like, why not? You just fucking put completely different words there.
Yeah, I took the test and look at this idiot before me. He crossed out all these fucking things. I'm like,
right. You don't have to do this one.
This one only says the. The question says the.
I would write skip else next to half the question. Skip.
You only answered one question. It told me to not answer the question. It said
skip on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck type of...
It's all computers now, though. So what could go wrong?
Oh, nothing. You got to sit in front of it and pick the traffic lights before you fucking
There
take
you
the
go.
test.
Are you really
in the Navy?
Are you a computer? God, I wish I was a computer right now. All right. So, yeah, no, passwords, I agree with you. They're crazy, and I go through it all the time on my phone. I'm like, oh, fuck, what's the password?
Yeah, so it ruins Christmas.
Well, you guys got a lot going on, too, here. Like, I think the average person are, like, they have, like, maybe one email account, maybe, like, one.
Oh, no.
If you're at technical at all, there's 8 million. You have 8 million accounts for different things.
Yeah, I have accounts for everything. Like, even like the show, right? So we have a YouTube channel. We have an email, right? I can't make them the same thing, right?
The same password?
With the same account.
Oh, no. No.
Because the reason being, if you're looking to hack the YouTube account, right? You already know the email to the show. Oh, I already know the username to the YouTube account. And then now all I have to do is guess the password.
Okay.
Which is true. It's tough to crack the password, but I'm the type of IT anal fucking maniac where I'm like, oh, well, I don't even want you knowing the username.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because then you can start running stuff through just to try. Like,
I want to make you work at hacking the fucking thing. I'm not going to give you half of the answer by giving you the username.
But that's why you got the phone verification step now, because you have to have you can't just have the email address. You have to have the email address, the password, and be able to get the code at the phone number.
Right. And that's another thing.
And you also have to know your mother's maiden name and what city your parents first had sex in.
I mean, this fucking bullshit. Listen, if they really want to be secure and they really want to do it the right way, just have two-factor authentication on the fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Require your user to use an authentication app where you just scan the fucking code. When you log in, you look at your phone.
You're doing like
type
RSA
in the
stuff.
Right, you just type in the fucking number, and I'm done. I'm fucking done. But I don't know, text messages and emailing codes and all this shit. Then don't even bother making the fucking application. I mean, there's so many bad applications out there. So much bad fucking software out there. So much. I think it's a joke. I don't know who said it, but if programmers built bridges, programmers wouldn't go on bridges.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't. Because they know it's all fucking tape and glue and fucking it's copy and paste off of Stack Overflow and Google and just running software and going, oh, it works. How's it work? It works. Who cares how it works?
No, it's not untrue, because where I work, the application guys, the database guys know nothing about networking, how their stuff travels, how it affects sites, what it does and doesn't do. The wide area network guys have no idea about real-time traffic and why it might be sensitive to this or that. The LAN guys have no idea why they need to segment things via LANs and stuff like that.
You have LAN guys?
Oh, we're completely compartmentalized organization, and it's all the bulk of that is out of India. So we're around the world, so it's not exactly the most effective way to get things done.
That must be nice.
A lot of smart guys over there.
Sure,
but they don't. It's a very smart culture of people. They're not super free thinkers, though, when it comes to problem solving.
Well, no, I mean, because you can't. All you're doing is stepping into a minefield if you start to try and problem solve. So the second you come up against the wall of your box, you just fucking stop. I mean, so many times we were like modifying a piece of software, and it's like, something that has to happen at invoicing. This is really boring. Fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're at a TED Talk now or something.
I know,
bullshit.
But it pisses me off. It's like you don't want to fix it, so let the invoicing program run, and do all its bullshit, and then we'll just run another program to fix all the shit that thing broke.
Yeah. Would your people mind running a separate application in conjunction with that? Then they're just going to manually move those numbers over. What could go wrong with that?
Right.
But yeah, no, you're right. And you're right. This is fucking boring, and I don't want to talk about it because it's making me think about going back to work.
It's fucking pissing me off. Yeah. But the passwords kind of
no, you're right.
got me into the
bad
software conversation.
You go back to a business though, and they want everything to be single, like SAML stuff, like single sign-on, SSO. Like they want you to have one password for everything there.
Yeah.
But then HR throws a password at you. Then there's a training password. Then there's your expense reporting password because everything is in the cloud now. And now I have 800 passwords. And then I can't use my normal password because it doesn't have enough special characters.
Right.
We use extra special encryption. You need more special characters. Actually, your password should be entirely made of special characters, if that's at all possible.
And then you got like a password
and
manager.
a number.
What about a password and a number? And then you got password managers, which needs a password. And then if you forget that password, you've just lost all your passwords.
Yeah.
So then you need some sort of recovery method. So then you need to have an email address that you're going to use for that. And then you better have that password so you can log onto that email account. If you don't have that.
I got an answer for you, though. You should do it.
So fuck it.
Do what my father-in-law
Are we
does.
recording?
Are we? There we go. We got that out of the way.
25 minutes.
25 minutes of
okay, so
bullshit
the
password talk.
The numbers wouldn't be moving.
So do what my father-in-law does, though. He has a piece of paper in his wallet.
Yeah.
With his password.
Well, this is what we're doing to people. You go up to their desk and there's Post-its all over their fucking monitor.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, there you go.
We've done that at my work before, too. We're like, what's this guy's password? We lifted up the keyboard. There's a sticky note there. Oh, it says blah, 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 1.
Right.
I would never guess that.
I'll walk over to a guy and be like, all right, Mike, can you sign in over here? Oh, it's just, and he just blurts out his fucking password. And it's a word with 2 numbers at the end, which the 2 numbers are the fucking jersey number that he wears to fucking work every day.
It's NY Giants Eli 16 16 69.
No, it's just, it ends in 13, and that's his hockey number. That's his jersey. He wears it. He comes in like, we don't really have casual Fridays, but it basically, if you're going to guess the number at the end of the thing, it would be the first number you'd enter. Would be 13.
Yeah, well, 13 is probably a very common number, too, just because it's like 666, 69, 13. 7 would be a popular one.
7.
1.
1.
1 is always very popular. Yeah. But anyways.
So Christmas Eve, I hung out with the producer of Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry? Chuck Berry.
The Twist.
The Twist. Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yes. The Twist.
Yep.
That's pretty much Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry.
There's nothing else, right?
Is there?
Twist. I think it's just the Twist.
Is it just the Twist?
I'm pretty sure it's just a Twist.
Yeah, him.
It's not like we have these powerful computers that could tell us more about Chuck Berry while you do that.
Well, that's right. We don't have to look it up. But I hung out with him. I went into his studio, and he's going to review our Lisa, and Cult Jam.
Lisa, and Cole Jam, and Chuck Berry are going to review our podcast.
No, the producer of both of those artists.
Okay, that's probably a better person to do it.
Yeah, he's gonna review it and see what the fuck's wrong with our audio.
I don't. Can somebody email us and tell us how our audio is? Because we have a skew. By the way, dude, I'm looking up Chuck Berry. There's a couple problems with. I don't know how we could forget this.
Wait, I need a beer.
Okay, get your beer. I'm going to talk. So.
Talk in the microphone, please.
Chuck Berry actually is not. I don't think he's a Twist, dude.
Well, you said that.
I said that. Yeah, I think I'm wrong. I think you might know. Well, "Roll Over Beethoven," right? Was a very popular, song.
Require an opener?
I can't remember, but I have one if we need one.
You do?
Yeah, I do. On my keychain.
Can I bother you for it?
No. Okay. Yes.
That's right. No one will talk on the show.
There we go. Now, yes, he's in his.
Do you want one of these?
I'll have one too. Yeah.
All right.
Excuse us while we open. I guess we should do a shameless plug here for. My wife got me these. It's a New Belgium.
That's another good brewery.
It is a good brewery, yeah, and it's Oak Spire Bourbon Barrel Ale.
Yeah.
It's made with in collaboration with Knob Creek. It's Bourbon Barrel Ale, so it's really quite
very nice. Oh, thank you.
Try to do that off mic.
So you
like
Chuck Berry.
So
Berry
Chuck
or Barry?
Berry.
Berry like the fruit.
Yeah. Berry. So the thing that we're really missing is that he played a little song called "Johnny Be Good."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, and
well, wait a minute.
Yeah. Remember his brother Marvin Berry heard that?
Wait a minute.
He was at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
That's right. Chuck Berry's a fucking rock legend.
Yes, you're right. Why was that? Who was the twist? Chubby Checker was the fucking twist.
Chubby Checker was the twist.
That's it.
Maybe that's who he had.
Was it Chubby Checker? There's a big difference,
dude. There's a big difference
between Chubby Checker and
Chuck Berry.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Chubby Checker is a legend in his
Johnny
own way.
Be Good is a fucking
Do you remember
legendary song?
You remember how that song came to be, though? His brother Marvin Berry heard that at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Calvin Klein was playing it at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
What are you talking about? You talking about Back to the Future?
Yeah.
That was a true story?
Marvin Berry heard Calvin Klein playing Johnny Be Good on the stage.
Okay, but so he wrote that song?
Well, he called him and he said, "You got to check this out, Chuck." And he held the phone up. You remember? You saw it in the movie, right?
Yeah, I saw it in the movie.
That's how that went
they
down.
referenced the real life moment?
Yeah, because he was playing Johnny Be Good, and he goes, the guy that cut his hand, he gets on the phone, and he goes, "Hey, Chuck, it's your brother, Marvin.
Yeah.
Marvin Berry.
Yeah, I remember that.
I got a new sound that you got to hear." And he holds the phone up when he's doing the whole Johnny Be Good thing.
But he wasn't playing Johnny Be Good. He was just playing distorted guitar.
No, that was a part of another song where he actually was playing Johnny Be Good in Back to the Future. It's been a while since you've seen Back to the Future.
No, I know. Are we talking about a movie or reality?
The movie, God damn it. I'm trying to play around.
You're playing around with me?
I'm
you
messing
can't play around with
but
me.
I'm being sarcastic that's
You're
where
being
the song
sarcastic?
came. But the movie,
That would have been really cool. Maybe they were referencing a real thing.
But that would have involved a time traveler.
No, it would have just involved that someone was playing something cool on stage that Marvin wanted him to hear, and he heard it, and it was a little futuristic sounding. And
was there really a Marvin
And so
Berry
they
there?
referenced it in. I don't know.
I don't know either. That's what I'm saying. But still, are we accusing Chuck Berry of now we're accusing Chuck Berry of stealing the song?
You
now?
did.
No, I'm talking about a movie. It's all fictitious. Oh my God.
You fucking had me going. But what were you? So anyway, he's gonna look at our
Okay.
fucking
Is it-
either
but I
either one of those legendary. The twist is pretty legendary.
No,
too.
it is. But
And Lisa and Cult Jam. I mean,
well, what's Lisa and Cult Jam famous for? What's their most famous song? Because I know the
Jesus
name of the
Christ,
band.
I'm trying to think of the name. It's not really a band.
It's not like you have a powerful computer in your hand that can answer all these questions.
I don't. I can't type. I can't see.
My screen is cracked.
So it doesn't
literally
matter. But
can't
Lisa
type.
and Cult Jam. There's believe me, there's a segment of our audience that knows exactly who they are. They may not remember the songs, but they knew that they danced to them at their high school prom in the 90s.
I think it's.
But yeah, and I was in the studio, pretty cool. You got to see the guy move around like one of those, the audio workspaces, the DAWs,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he pops in and out of those things. And he played a couple of songs for Lisa and I to hear. We were in there, and I told him, I said, Frankie, I said, open up, please do me a favor, open that song up that you just played in the workspace. He opened it up. Dude, there must have been 80 tracks. 80 freaking tracks. 15 seconds of music had 10 edits.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And he would take his voice and then run it through an octave machine, and then run it through a compressor, and then run it through something else, and then layer that. And so his voice would be completely synced up on 4 straight tracks, just one voice. Layering basically.
He
That's
doubled himself, tripled himself.
He tripled, quadrupled himself,
Nice.
actually. And each one had a different effect. So one, he had a chorus on his voice. One, he had reverb on his voice. One, he had the octave on his voice, so he's harmonizing a little bit. And then he phased them all together, all from one track.
Well, that's where you see the value of a good producer taking a song that's a decent song,
Yeah.
and putting it on another level, right? Because I mean, you think about the things that some of these producers did to something that's probably really, and live it wasn't really much. You're listening to it live, you're like, oh, it doesn't really sound the same,
Yeah, well, some of them.
And then you listen to the studio track, and you're like, holy shit, that sounds
Yeah.
amazing. And you're like, that's producer. I'm sure Quincy Jones was
Yeah.
influenced so many songs with the stuff that he did to it, in the studio,
Yeah, the Smashing Pumpkins are guilty of that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I don't know, but I've seen the Pumpkins a few times, and they were pretty amazing. But
They're
you're right;
pretty good, but nothing like their records.
it was a much more visceral rock and roll show than the produced. I mean,
That's
Melancholy and
Butch
Infinite.
Vig, I think. Yeah.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness was an amazing double album. I mean, in the time
Amazing.
where, dude, and it took you on a trip,
Yeah.
And then I actually bought a box set that they did called The Airplane Flies High. I think I still have it. It's an amazing box set. It's like 12 discs. It's like all these crazy singles and covers. And I mean, Billy Corgan is obviously very talented guy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's speaking of Quincy Jones. Not to get too far away from this, I was thinking about it though. The Marlon Brando thing is really fucking with me, dude. Like, it's become my new kind of.
Oh, Quincy Jones. He's the one who said Pryor and Brandon. I keep calling him Brandon.
Yeah,
it was him. He said it. He's the one. Who
yeah,
said it.
Amongst the wife too. The wife corroborated what Quincy Jones said. But dude, what Quincy Jones said was so much bigger than just Brando fucking Pryor.
Yeah, he said
the
a lot
list
of
of
shit.
people that Brando fucked.
Yeah, there were a few. Okay,
dude.
you have a few?
A couple.
Okay, so besides Richard Pryor, which I mean, that's a fucking bombshell.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye.
He had sex with Marvin Gaye.
What about Rock Hudson? Is he on that list?
I don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me because Rock Hudson is like, I mean, he was openly. I mean, was he openly gay? He was outed as gay. He died of AIDS. So
he died of AIDS.
Yeah, I guess that kind of gay or bisexual or whatever he identified as. But and I had it open here because it's been open for a while. But I looked at this list and I was like, holy shit, dude.
See, you thought I was bullshitting you.
Dude. But I just feel like what we really didn't do well with that show, and this is where we end up having to go back to these topics over and over, because we don't explore the topic fully and exhaust it.
Well, no, you know why? Because we don't prepare anything. We just come in here and we just have a few drinks and just talk our asses off.
Talk about passwords for 3 hours.
Yeah, and so we may touch on like really interesting topics. The good thing is that we eventually come back to it and sometimes address it if it's worth it, like Brando having ass sex with Marvin Gaye.
I don't know if it's ass. See, now we're being judgmental because who knows if it was really ass sex or not? But
wouldn't it? Oh, I guess it could have been oral.
It could be anything. Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, it just could have been like mutual masturbation. I don't know.
I told you the baseball player cuckold story, right?
No.
The guy on the bus, that Dominican baseball player. What the hell was his name? Well-known baseball player. Dominican baseball player really narrows it down.
Yes, you really.
Then this was maybe like, I don't know, 20 years ago. And this story was told to somebody who was basically the bus driver. He was driving them from one town to another because they didn't need it was too short of a trip to take a plane.
Uh-huh.
And so the team was on the bus, and the guy's telling the story of how this guy was in a hotel with this guy and his wife. And he goes and he said, and he was going at it with his wife, and he goes, and then the guy took, actually took my, dick out. He goes and he started sucking it. Jesus. And so the whole team was like, whoa, that's fucking gay, and he's like, no, he was sucking my dick.
Yeah. I closed my eyes. It could have been anyway.
It's like, he got it all wrong, dude.
There are a lot of guys who go in prison and they say, hey, I got to get by in prison. If that dude wants to do that, it could be anybody. I don't know.
I just love that point of view that it's just, that's not, homosexual, just because I wasn't doing it.
I got to go look up this Brando thing again because somehow it got closed on my phone.
It got closed? Okay, so then why are you going through that? Let me see. I think I wanted to touch on.
So it's funny. The news is so much more clean about it than we are because we're like they had fucking ass sex.
Yeah.
This line says Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando were lovers. Pryor's widow. Lovers. See, that sounds more romantic. You're talking about like
they were
butt sex.
Yes. So, so this guy Dave wins the T-shirt contest, right?
Yeah.
One of a kind T-shirt contest. While you look that up, I'll just figure it out.
I'm still looking for it.
And I thought it'd be a really cool idea of just making like a one of a kind T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just make one. I mean, they have all these services, right? You just go and you just put your put your design in or upload your design. So I said, how hard could it be? And we'll make one, and then it'll never be made again, and it'll be something that'll be unique and special. And I looked at a couple of different sites, and I found a site that I liked, and they had good quality T-shirts, and I said, I'll use them. I looked at the price of the shirt, and it was like, $30-something or something. No, $17.
And the shirt looked great, by the way. I thought it was really cool. Like I told you, I wanted to own the shirt.
Yeah, I thought the shirt was cool too, and I was like, all right, cool, we could do this. So we run the contest, and the contest happens. People sign up. I have the drawing. I use random.org. I basically took the entrants as they came in, and we numbered them straight down the list in the order they first come, first serve. So the first entrant was 1, and so on. And then I went to random.org, I think it was, and I had them pick a random number between 1 and whatever the last number was. I forget. Anyway, it produces a number. I check the number. I go down the list. It's Dave. Dave wins a T-shirt. Tell him I get his size. Everything's cool. All right. So now I just go and I'm going to order the shirt. I email him. It takes about 2 weeks to get the shirt. We're getting it sent to us too to make sure, for quality assurance. Make sure that it's a good shirt before we send it out. We don't want to send out a piece of shit. If all's good, then send it along and I'll send you tracking info. I then go to order the shirt. And you can't order one.
You can't order just one.
Can't order just one.
Okay.
There's a minimum. So the minimum was 6.
And 6 shirts was...
So the 6 shirts cost $210 with tax, shipping. And when the 6 shirts come, we're basically going to cut up 5 shirts.
Well...
So Dave... Fucking wear that shirt, man.
But do we have to cut up the other 5
Of course
shirts?
we do, yes.
Why?
Oh, absolutely. I want to videotape it, actually. I think we should just put that shit on YouTube and Instagram.
That's $200.
As proof that we can't use the, no.
This is why I've been
what are we
texting
gonna do
you.
No,
I've been texting you about this when you said the shirt, it's $200 shirt. And I said, how is it? I'm like, was it like the first one they have to make like a template? And that's why.
Well, I guess they had to make a plate for each color of our logo.
But you were evasive. You just didn't answer me when asking you what the fuck's going on.
I was just in shock. I thought it was going to be.
I said, "Does your wife, does Lisa know that you're spending $200?"
It's
not okay.
It's a learning opportunity.
Is that okay? That's one way to put it. Okay, I can tell you work in a corporate environment.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? This is, you make mistakes and you learn from them, and this was it was a bit of a mistake, but. We could turn lemons into lemonade, and we can make we could think of 5 ways. We could think of some ways to destroy 5 T-shirts.
And what if we put it on a mannequin and threw it out of an airplane?
Who's buying the plane tickets? I'm already out $200.
Okay, so what if we extended it to say,
and that wouldn't even destroy the shirt.
In a matter of fair play, so we don't piss the money away. What if you gave 5 other people the shirt?
Because it's not one of a kind anymore. And I'll be honest with you, that does bother me because there are people out there who are barebacked who could use a fucking shirt, and I'm going to be fucking defacing this stuff that probably some poor, 8-year-old Asian girl, stitched together with her bare hands, and I'm going to then just fucking rip it up. That bothers me for sure.
Can we send them to Thailand? No, because you're saying that the shirts cannot exist.
Right. The other 5 can't exist.
Dave has to be the sole owner.
He has to be the sole owner of this shirt. That was the contest.
I don't know. You and your morals.
So maybe...
I mean, you're right.
What if we deface the other 5?
What if we cut...
Then what are we going to do with
What if we cut the sleeves off
of
them and then gave them away?
Cut the
What if we made them
off?
tank tops?
Like
you ever see how they make
Balboa?
the tank top things? Make like a workout.
What size hole did you just make with your hand? You went down to your waist.
But they do. You ever see? They always cut.
That's
like
a Miami tank top.
Yo,
right
yeah.
there.
Like it's like something like a weightlifter would wear around the gym.
Where it's just 2 strings.
Yeah.
Spaghetti straps on his
I
traps.
would never ever wear that.
Well, I would feel almost worse doing that to our shirt. I would rather our shirt be in the garbage, I think, than be turned into one of those.
Can we load one?
I mean, we could turn them into rags. We could wash our cars with them as a complete waste.
That would bother me even more. That nobody ever wore it one time.
What we could do is we could cut the logo out.
Okay.
Right, and we could maybe frame it and hang it here in the studio.
Okay.
And then we'll cut the logos out. So we cut the 5 logos out, and we want to take a logo home. I take a logo, and now we do the other ones, and then we make rags out of the shirts. We wash our cars, windows.
I don't know.
Maybe we use them to clean this filthy studio.
Is this a studio?
Uh,
I guess it is.
yeah.
This little
It's
part
a
is
studio in the bunker.
I know, but there's like all the provisions are stacked around everywhere, and there's a piss
Provisions.
bottle. You know what, Nick? I've been wanting to talk to you about the piss bottles are completely out of control.
Yeah,
like,
never mind the socks.
and the jugs, let alone and socks. Yes,
Lots of socks.
I walk around them like it's a minefield. There's socks everywhere down here, and I've never seen a bigger tub of Jergens hand lotion. Than
No, there's no lotion with socks.
No.
I mean,
You gave up on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, next episode, what we need to do, this is like homework for us.
Mm-hmm.
We need to gather that. We need to get the list straight. So I think what I was thinking is that I'll make my top 10 and you make your top 10.
Okay.
Then we'll see if we could, how close we are, how different we are. And we kind of see if we can come up with a top 10. And that I think we could do on the show.
Okay.
And then we'll post that and then see who agrees and who disagrees.
Okay.
And I think we should do that. This past few weeks was just too much going on to fucking even begin to do that. And that's why we're not doing stoner recipes either.
Man, we have plenty of time. We've broken through the 7-episode barrier. Was this episode 8 officially?
I think we broke through episode 7 barrier with the RPG episode. So this might be technically. This is technically this is 9, but this is episode 8, I believe. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we're really also doing a really good job at numbering our show and not confusing people.
Yes,
because we have fucking 2 shows as one show.
Eventually, we can split it off. We'll split it off if it becomes that interesting.
Yeah, and also I suck at role playing.
All right, but dude, that's a skill you develop.
Yeah, I see that, but you know, for my first scene ever, okay, my DM puts me in a moment that required probably despair, right? I mean, tears. I don't know. Could I have gotten more of a Pacino scene where I'm just screaming at somebody? You know what I mean? You put De Niro in that moment where his mentor is getting a hook through him. I mean, I guess he would scream. What would he do? He'd yell.
What are you, Rocky?
No, he would yell and scream how he's gonna fucking kill him or something like that. I guess I could have did that.
Here's the challenge.
Instead, I just was kind of like I was more enthralled than like I was like listening. Like,
no, you were.
I was less a participant and more an audience member.
So you just have to get more comfortable with the character and I think the good thing about your character is he's kind of a blank slate, and we can kind of develop him from. I don't want to say from nothing. He has a background, but I think he can become developed as we move along. And the other thing that I think is challenging is typically in a role playing game, like. We need to be the most entertained people in the room when you're just role playing. The minute you put these mics on, we now have to invest a whole other group of people in something that they don't care about, a story. And I think that was why it was important that we play out your prologue. One, it grabbed me like, oh shit, yeah, we should play that out because, you have a main antagonist and you really want to fucking hate somebody, you want to. And if you don't see that person, the hate isn't there, right? All the backstory hate that you've built, they don't feel. But if they see how shitty these people are to you, they're invested now of going, holy shit, how are they shitty to that guy? They treated him like a fucking animal,
Well, and the backstory that I had prepared, I'm not sure how much of it is played out already or if there's still more to play out because my backstory what I had written took place over many years with that old man.
Yeah.
And this seems so I don't know if that continuing now, like I don't know where. So like it's interesting because you took what I had and now it's kind of like I volleyed it to you, and now you're taking it, and now all of a sudden, even though I had initially drafted the outline of a backstory, now you've taken it, and now all of a sudden I don't even know the backstory too much anymore because I'm like, where's he going to go with this, with these bullet points, so to speak. So, yeah, I'm a little confused.
Okay,
but you'll help me out, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not trying to change it. I think, but the problem is the minute we start role playing things out, that it's easy to write down this happens and then this happens, but when you start making choices and then you start rolling dice and it's like, did that play out the way that I wanted it to play out? No, I thought it would play out a different way, but I need to take things that are put in front of me. The minute we start role playing, the minute we start rolling dice and they're flying around, there's not a lot I can do. I need to.
Right.
So can I try to put you back on that trail? Yeah, we can get you back there, but I think it'll be more fulfilling.
No, you don't need
long term.
You don't need to put me back on any trail. I just, I said, that's also was part of some of my hesitancy was that I'm like, well, wait a minute. That sort of happens, but doesn't happen this way. Mm-hmm. And then I was like thinking, am I supposed to be following the backstory and bringing this back to the backstory? Or am I supposed to just be playing this character based on the moment? Like, so I was kind of torn a little bit.
I think that helps you, though, because you're transitioning. Like, we put you out there like you were this meek creature, but you're coming out of your and I'm sure everybody hears that didn't listen to the game show or whatever, and there are, I'm sure, more than a few people who didn't, but but
anyway,
but I mean, so
some people I'm sure listen to both, and we're just
I re-listened to it today. So to answer your question, play your character, make decisions that your character would play. There's no wrong decision that you make because it's your character.
Right.
As long as it's true to who he is, you should do it. Okay. And then trust in me that I'll try to make it interesting and fun, right? That's my job.
I'm not worried about that.
So and also, since we're doing the prologue, I feel a little bit more like I'm trying to control things, and I think we'll play things to a similar outcome. Okay. I just think it's impossible it'll be exactly the same because of, like I said, these random events.
It's absolutely impossible. Yeah. I'm realizing that.
Now it's already impossible because of where you are.
Right. I mean, I'm not sure how old I am either, but we can go over that later.
Yeah, and I think we need to figure that out because I think we're still going to keep you at third level now.
Then I should be we're close to the age I was supposed to be when I'm leaving, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and you would have trained with him for a few
years.
Yeah, so he would have gone through that. And I thought we kind of played into that. That was going on for some time.
Right. Well, you said weeks turn into months, and then it was, and also when I told the story where I pick up where I'm almost a child.
Yeah.
And I'm taken at 10. Then I'm beaten down like morally over a course of time. That was vague a little bit, but purposefully so, I guess. And then I meet the old man, and then I thought it would be some years. So it's not completely off because that's just that was years, Yeah. Even if it was just 2 or 3, that would get me close to, what was the age you said? 18, 19?
Yeah.
Something like that. That would do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, intentionally ambiguous would be the way that we probably maybe we started. We'll work on that.
We'll get it.
Go back.
We'll get it. So, did you have a sour cream cookie?
I have not had a sour cream. That's a sour cream.
See, you made a classic mistake. You grabbed a few of those, and I don't know if you noticed. I went and got more. That's the cookie right there, man.
The sour cream cookie. It has sour cream. Well, I mean, it's a stupid question.
It does, yeah. Sour cream.
Okay, well, we'll try that.
It's a fucking great fucking cookie.
Okay. I can honestly tell you, never tried a sour cream cookie.
I don't know if the recipe. This is one of the things I love about holidays. You guys do a lot of bacon? No,
absolutely zero.
Zero. Okay.
Yeah.
But what about family? They bake and bring it over or something?
Yeah, my brother-in-law makes a lot of good stuff, and then my mother-in-law makes good stuff, and family they all make cookies.
They bring the stuff.
It's almost like we have like a situation you have. We have a table filled with cookies that we can't possibly consume.
Right. So you came in him like, I have cookies.
I know. Oh, fuck. I just got away from that room of cookies.
But anyway, so that's the one right there.
So I got something that I want to talk about because we mentioned it, and then it ties into a couple things we discussed, and I don't think we really satisfactory. And you know what? I'm mad at myself because I didn't fight you enough on it when we had this conversation because I listened to it.
You're not going to bring up Mr. Furley, are you?
I'm not bringing up Mr. Furley, although I did watch a ton of Three's Company, and I asked everyone, and everyone agrees that Mr. Furley's a pervert.
Mr. Furley is a pervert.
Not a pervert, but he's definitely repressed sexually. No, see, you're connecting Don Knotts, but even go back to Barney Fife from Andy Griffith.
Right.
He was kind of a dickhead. He was a little man obsessed with his power. He wanted to abuse his power.
Okay, yeah.
He was edgy back then, and he was kind of a dickhead.
He's definitely sexually oppressed.
Yes.
But like a tight ass, like a a tight wad. Like
I don't know, dude. If he had a drunk girl on his couch and he could tip the scales and do something, I just absolutely believe he would take that opportunity. He would not put the girl in the bed and lock the door.
Okay, wait. Are we talking about real world Mr. Furley, or are we talking about the character Mr. Furley?
Okay, so let's quantify this whole conversation.
You're going in a different direction.
If we
with
put
Mr.
Furley in the real world, if he exists as a real person,
then he's absolutely doing what you're saying.
yes. But see, I can't.
But I'm talking about. I said it was the best character. We were talking about
But I
some of
wasn't
the best characters on TV. His character would never.
No, not on the show. But when I look at those characters, though,
Not
I
on the
say
show.
this person is a
In
composite
the scope of the show.
No,
This
you're
is
right.
the scope of the character. As soon as you leave the show, he's not a character anymore.
But don't you look? See, this is my problem with sitcoms and why I can't watch them anymore. Because they're not realistic in that way. Because you're saying that guy in the real world is really a fucking piece of shit.
Well, yeah, but sitcoms aren't like that anymore. Modern Family is not
I don't
too
know.
much like that. I mean, a little bit maybe here and there. That's why I watch animated series mostly.
So you know what? I've never. So this is a funny story. It happened within the past week and a half. I have never watched an episode of Rick and Morty.
Really?
So, and I've always wanted to. So the
Okay.
other day it was on, and I turned it on. Do you know what episode of Rick and Morty it was that I watched?
One of my favorites, I hope. Was which one?
Pickle Rick
Pickle Rick.
was the first.
You know what? I've yet to see Pickle Rick.
Oh my god, dude!
Every time I flip it on, and every time I flip it on, like I'm thinking to myself, I got to buy the season because I missed it when it came out. That was supposedly a really good episode.
Dude, it blew my fucking mind. I was like, oh my god! And I don't know why I never find it on. I have to set it up on the DVR, but and I keep forgetting. But it's amazing, dude! Amazing fucking episode.
Yeah, I mean, and he's an alcoholic, and he's literally pickled.
He turned himself into a pickle,
Hmm.
and then the pickle turned into like I don't even know, dude. It was fucking crazy. But I was laughing because I was like, I have to tell Nick because I'm sure you have watched more. Rick and
You got to
Morty
see
than
the
me.
Unity episode. That's fun.
Really? Yeah, I think I need to start over. Is that something I can watch with Lucas? You can't watch it with him. You probably can't watch it with him. No.
Mm,
Okay.
it's pretty. It's got some pretty. I mean, I don't know. He played Batman Arkham,
Yeah.
right? He plays Red Dead.
He doesn't play it because I stopped him from playing it because he was doing missions for me, and I'm like, stop. Sorry, he ruined the Spiderman game because he played the whole game, and I was like, there's nothing left for me to do.
Well, you need to help me with Red Dead.
Okay, you brought this up earlier. What happened?
I don't know. Is there a way to go back a little bit?
It depends on if you have multiple save points saved.
I don't even know where to fucking find the save points, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Can
It's
you make
journal
this more
entries. It's journal entries. But so what happened that you need to go back?
So, I definitely did the wrong. I definitely started too hard. Like, you know, where you get like you're at camp and then there's multiple missions, and I'm fucking retarded. The uncle is there asleep at the wagon, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wake the guy, you know. So I just got on my horse and went into town. Next thing I know, I'm going to the O'Driscoll's hideout.
Okay.
So I'm at the O'Driscoll's hideout, like 2 minutes from camp. I'm already in the hideout. I had this big fist fight with this Tommy guy, and they don't even fucking tell me how to fucking punch. I don't even know how to punch. I'm like smashing buttons and like losing multiple times before I say fuck this. I go look at the instructions to see how to fucking punch.
It's circle.
Melee is one, and then there was melee attack, but attack I thought would be punch, but it's not.
Yeah. Square
Grapple
is block and circle is
square
punch.
Is block.
Square is block and then circle is punch.
Okay, I didn't even see
you can
that.
be careful. You can punch horses though.
Well, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I'm doing that, and I get things happen that I didn't think was going to happen. So I don't. This is gonna. I don't know if this is spoiling this for anybody. Have you gone to the O'Driscoll hideout?
I don't remember.
Well, it's that gang that supposedly did something to you, and
yeah, they did something to Dutch's. They killed a Dutch's woman, and he killed the guy's brother.
Yeah,
and
there's like some shit that went down.
A
Whatever.
lot of beef.
I'm still didn't learn all the beef yet, but you could tell there was beef, and they're constantly talking about the Driscolls, and they're enemies from the beginning.
Yeah.
So anyone who's playing the game knows what I'm talking about.
You went to rob the O'Driscolls.
Well, I didn't go to rob them. I went to go get Colm O'Driscoll.
Okay, Colm O'Driscoll.
And he
yeah,
wasn't
he's the leader.
there.
He wasn't there. Yep. Okay.
So I'm in the cabin,
Okay.
There's a gun. I look at the gun. I take it. I look at it. I'm like, I'm not fucking dropping a carbine for this fucking double-barreled shotgun. It looks nice, but fuck it. I dump it. I pick up multiple things, right?
Yeah.
And there's a money clip there.
Yep.
The camp needs money.
You took the money clip.
I took the fucking money clip.
Okay, cool. Yeah, of course you did.
All of a sudden, I'm wanted
All right.
because I fucking pick a money clip up.
Yeah,
What about when I picked up when I stole the food, when I stole the shotgun off the wall? Like I stowed it away and then changed my mind. I wasn't a criminal when I took the fucking shotgun, but I took like $50 off the guy's table. And then all of a sudden, I'm wanted, and it said crime reported. Who reported it? The room was fucking empty. So then I'm like, oh, well, it's just saying that, all right, you're a criminal now. I'm like, duh, I'm a criminal. So I just kept ransacking the fucking place.
Okay.
Next thing I know, fucking
There's
the
a
police
bunch of
show up.
show-off-
Lawmen show up. Fucking guy with a fucking shield comes. He busts in the fucking door. I take my gun out. I'm fucking killing cops like fucking left and right. I killed like 8 fucking cops.
Yep.
I'm like, well, fuck it. I loot them too. I take their shit because
Now
why
you're
not?
just
I just
adding
killed
to it. Yeah.
once you kill one cop, you kill 100. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So now I get my horse, and I'm like, wow, I just killed a bunch of fucking cops.
Yep.
I'm like riding the horse, and some woman is like screaming. So I see her now. I've heard stories about this woman. I said, well, I think supposedly this woman's going to betray me somehow, even though if I try and help her. But let me see. I want to see this shit for myself. So I walk over to the fucking guy, and I'm not even trying to mess with him. I'm just trying to ride alongside him just to see.
Yep.
I want to hear what's going on.
But you accidentally bump into him.
No.
What happened?
No, I was just riding alongside of him.
Okay.
And then finally he gets fed up. And he starts fucking shooting at
Yeah.
me. So I'm like, fuck. I got to shoot this guy. So I shoot that guy till he's dead. I nick his horse in the fucking leg, which I felt worse about for some reason. Then I get off my horse. I pick the woman up. I throw her on the back, and I said, well, no, I'm doing with this fucking woman. I said, all right, well, I'll bring her into camp. Maybe when we bring her into camp, maybe some new story will unlock. We'll fucking untie this woman and all that. So I'm riding into camp. She falls off the fucking horse. So I go to get – I'm like, oh, fuck. I felt bad that she fell off the horse for some reason, even though I just killed 10 cops. And I go over to her, and I'm very close to camp now. So close to camp that not Javier, but one of the other guys is like walking like in the woods, like around
they're
there.
like a guard. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like paroling
Who goes
around.
there? And
Right.
You say, hey,
Yeah, it's me. And he like walks over, like looks at her. Basically like steps on her legs, her thighs, and keeps walking. So I'm looking at him like, fuck, all right, so you're not going to help me pick this woman up? So I'm looking for you because it says...
He doesn't want to get involved in this bullshit. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
The look
You kidnapped a woman?
Yeah, he looked at her, he looked at me, he's like, fucking idiot, what did you get yourself into? So now, the square is take, I think, or triangles mount the horse, and I think, and then I'm fucking pressing, I'm looking, it's not telling me, not giving me the option, press box to pick her up. It's not giving me the option.
She probably did, yeah.
No. She's like, please help me. Don't leave me here. She's pleading with me now. And she's squirming in her ropes. And I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to pick you up.
How did she
but
get tied
I
up?
can't. She's tied up her hands behind her back. She's hogtied pretty much. And I'm fucking looking for the button to pick her up. And I'm walking around her. And every time like you get too close, it nudges her a little bit. And I'm like, oh, you sorry. And, you're laughing because I think, you know what happens?
No.
Okay, well, this is what happens.
Go ahead.
So I'm like, maybe it's not box.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's circle.
You kick her?
Kick her. I press circle. He stomps on her head until she dies. I'm staring at the screen horrified. I'm like, what's he doing? He's like, duh, duh. Blood all over his shoes. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? And the guy walks back. Looks. He keeps walking again. He steps over and goes back to camp. And then I ended the game. I'm like, I got to restart that. I didn't want to do that. And when I did that, then the music with you evil bastard music came on.
Yeah, and you get the little bing, and you get the little red thing on the right that says your honor went down.
Is that what went down? I heard a ding.
It's
I
not
didn't see the.
All right.
So now I just want to go back
and either not pick the bitch up at all.
You got to live with you got to live with the consequences. You start fucking.
I can't rewind.
You can't go back to. Not unless you have a save.
But it
point.
it wasn't a consequence of a choice. It was me not knowing how to fucking work the game.
Dude, do you know how many times? So let me just tell you why I'm laughing, because it's the fucking game, dude. This is the way it is. You're getting just to the point where there's more and more involvement, it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And tell you, if you're riding the horse through town, you go too fast and you run past somebody and they get pissed off, they will start shooting at you. Like if you
I've had some people telling me off.
If you accidentally bump into somebody, they will start a fist fight with you. Like, and I play the game a ton. And
this is good beer.
And here's what I'll tell you, dude. Sweet summer child, you are as green as grass. You're gonna get way worse than that. So stomping somebody's head. I'm gonna tell you right now, I get pissed off when shit goes wrong, dude.
Woman tied up on the ground,
I know, dude. It's fucked up.
He
but
bashed her head in with his boot.
He didn't mean to do it. So go back and make it up. Be a better person now. Go say hi to everybody.
I didn't even get anything out of it. Like it was a senseless murder.
Dude, I've had people in the back of my horse. I've hit a tree, and they went flying off my horse and over a cliff and died.
That's an accident.
It was an accident, which you did too.
Standing over her and pouncing on her head with
but
my heel and my boot?
You didn't mean to. You hit the wrong
control. She didn't know that. She looked up and saw his boot.
I didn't mean to hit the tree. The person died. Am I not responsible? Should I have been going slower? I don't know. The problem is if you're around stuff and there are multiple things on the ground, sometimes the menu that you need doesn't pop up. It's a thing in the game. I'm going to tell you what I do. Sometimes when shit goes wrong, though, I go on a fucking rampage. Let me tell you how many towns I wanted in for $1,900 bounties because I left a stack of cops and then I burned their bodies on a fire. Because,
you could do that?
Oh, dude.
I should have burned them.
I walked into this one house and then the dude was like hiding under the bed. I was supposed to get money from his dad or something, and the dude was hiding under the bed. And then he gave me the money, and I searched the house. I took fucking everything. I went and searched. I found everything and took it all. And then before I left, I turned and I shot the lanterns on the wall and lit the fucking house on fire. And I walked out, dude. The house was fucking raging behind me. I was like, "That's right, motherfucker. That's why I got scorpions on my guns, dude. Because I'm the fucking scorpion. I stung your ass." But
so I can't go back. You're saying?
Look, here's the thing: is if you accidentally kill somebody, you got to get rid of the body.
I just fucking left.
If you're on a main road, so what happens is you have witnesses. I've had to cap some people. It gets messy, dude. So you're like, you don't want them to go back.
I shouldn't have left those 6 dead cops in that fucking.
You probably should have got rid of them. You can burn them. You throw them in the swamp. You could do a bunch of things, but hide them in brush. But if you're on a road and somebody sees you taking shit off of somebody, they'll report you. So then here's what's happened to me now. So you start but it's interesting because it really is a microcosm of the world. So you make a bad decision, right? You go into camp. I roll through. I see like smoke on the horizon. I walk up into camp. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? And they just start fucking cussing at me. I'm like, hey, okay, take it easy, man. He's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. I'm like, okay, everybody. I'm like, diffuse, right? They got that whole thing. You can antagonize or diffuse. These dudes draw on me. You got to go, man. Because I'm not going to go. Pop, 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 pop. So I pop them all.
Right.
Then you search their bodies. Pshing, negative honor automatically when you search a body of somebody that you kill wrongfully. Then this dude's riding by.
Why is that?
Because I don't know. That's just the honor system in the game. So then this dude's riding by, and he sees me looting these bodies. So he's like...
And now you're like, fuck, I got to kill you
so
too
then
now.
I kill that guy. So this is how it goes. Then I kill that guy. So I bring him back to where I hide the other bodies, and I'm hiding that body. Then somebody else sees it. There's fucking 4 people on a wagon. I fucking kill all those motherfuckers. Now you got so much fucking blood on your hands.
It's like natural born killer.
I know. You're like, what the fuck is going on, dude? And then I ride around to make my honor better. I say hi to everybody constantly.
You say hi to people. It's like, how you doing?
Cha-ching, your honor goes up.
Your honor goes up. So
it offsets all the bad shit that I do, but I'm still way in the negative, dude.
I don't even know. I didn't even notice that.
Dude, shit gets out of hand, bro.
I
But you can see, like, a real criminal is like, fuck. You can rob a bank with a bunch of guys, and then you're like, you think Frankie talks to his wife? You think he tells her the shit that he does? It's like, I don't know. Then Frankie and his wife's got to fucking go because you're fucking paranoid that Frankie and his wife are gonna rat you out. Then the next thing you know, it's like fucking Goodfellas. You got people popping up.
You gotta kill everybody.
You got fucking
just kill everybody.
The guy wakes up in a fucking freezer on a fucking hook, and it gets but it's interesting because it really is like your decisions, dude. You're like, so. bounties, I used to get mad because Lucas played it and he got a huge bounty on me. And he really did bump into somebody. He's like, Dad, I bumped into the guy and he started fighting me. He's like, then I beat the shit out of him. He goes, then I looted his body. Then the cops were all over me. And I'm like, so I got so mad at him about it. But then I'm like, then I went and paid the bounty off. Now I'm like, fuck that shit. My bounties are so fucking high, dude. I just live with it.
You know,
And the bounty hunters come after me night and day, dude. They hound me night and day. It's a pain in the ass. I'm in the middle of doing something. There's fucking 30 bounty hunters and fucking dogs and everything, dude. And I got to kill all these fools. But the money goes back to camp. It goes to a good place. I don't know. I don't know how you play that game 100% clean, dude. Because you're right. You just one button push away from a fucking brawl opening up, and it's a whole fucking problem.
Yeah, and I don't know. So I guess I'll just have to live with that decision.
Yeah, you live with the consequences, unfortunately.
Well, like I said, it wasn't even a decision. It was just a fucking...
You're just going to have to... I want to see how far you get with this white hat mentality you're going to go, because...
Well, I'm wanted.
It happens a lot. You can go pay... How big is the bounty? No,
I don't know. How do you even know that?
If you go to the map and you move the mouse around, you can see the bounties that are open for you. You definitely have a bounty. It's probably a couple $100. You can pay it off if you want to, and it'll go away.
A couple $100 for killing like 6-7 cops?
Yeah, you could make it go away. Not enough money.
And one of the guys was like Mr. Lawman.
Yeah.
Like long, beige, fine leather coat, big shiny white star, and a nice hat. And yeah.
Did he die pretty?
No. He took several gunshots to the chest. His friends tried jumping in front of him, but they just got in the way.
Nope.
And
Guess he wasn't that good.
it was perfect because they would come. They came in through the front door, and I just got behind the desk, and it was a choke point. I was just picking them off.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've had a stack of.
Yeah, just stack them, and you walk over them, loot them,
and then you're driving around too, and you're covered in blood. So people see you covered in blood. Right. The game is amazing. It's amazing, dude. They're like. I told you the story on the show about the guy got kicked by a fucking horse, right? Remember the story?
Yes.
I'm there. The guy got kicked by a horse. I'm like, I didn't take any money. I didn't do shit wrong. I throw him on the back of the horse. I ride into town. I'm like, help, help. Everybody's like, people are running away from me. I'm like, help. This guy's dying. I think he's dead. I don't even know. Then the cops are coming after me. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I said, that was my turning point. No good deed goes unpunished, man. This shit does not pay. I should have left that dude rotting in a fucking field with a fucking horseshoe print on his forehead. It was unbelievable.
You can't. Sometimes it seems like you can't win.
You can't win. So, but back to what I wanted to go back to. You asked me.
I'm sorry. That's right. You were said something, and then I.
So we were.
I said to Miss Furley.
You said Mr.
I brought up
Furley,
Mr. Furley,
but that wasn't what I was going to talk.
Somehow we're talking about Arthur Morgan.
Arthur Morgan. By the way, my beard is a level 8 beard. Oh, it's nice. I got to drink so much hair tonic though. It's so out of control.
Fucking hair tonic.
So I went and I saw Into the Spider-Verse after our conversation. You said too many fucking superhero movies.
Right.
And I was very disappointed in myself that I did not fight you at all because I completely disagree. Because I love every fucking superhero movie and I see every fucking superhero movie.
Right.
And I don't even look at it like it's a superhero movie. Because I went and saw Aquaman that day that we went out for lunch and it was like Avatar Under the Ocean. It was a beautiful movie. And Jason Momoa was charismatic as shit. And it was good because it was something that we hadn't seen a million fucking times. It wasn't Superman. It wasn't fucking Batman. That's why Wonder Woman is good because it's a story you haven't seen 800 times, right?
Right.
So Aquaman was in that way. It was world building, dude. Like they built a whole fucking world under the ocean. And it was very entertaining and visually spectacular.
Okay.
But before that, I went and saw Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
And it totally linked our whole conversation. Not only about, you said, because your take was so, and I just went with it. I was like, maybe because it was a Wednesday when we did that show. But you're like, too many fucking Spider-Mans. And I'm like, yeah, well, maybe. So we had the conversation afterwards about infinity. And in a world where there are infinite us's, right?
Right.
And what you were talking about essentially was that if there were going to be infinite us's, because you're saying that there are a finite amount of elements and compounds that we have tracked, but that because the universe is infinite, there are an infinite amount of us's because those combinations can only happen so many times in that equation.
But in infinite space, it can happen in infinite.
Infinitely. And being infinite us's, though, we have to think and consider that that's more than just this dimension that we're in, right? Because infinity expands across all the dimensions, right?
No,
it doesn't.
no, that's the multi-world theory.
But
no, the universe is infinite within itself.
So here's a problem with that. If we don't consider other dimensions,
But you're right. There would be many, many Spider-Men.
right? So that's the funny thing, though. So we had that whole conversation about infinite possibilities of us, and the combination of us could be there could be one combination of us sitting at a table where I'm from Brooklyn and you're from Tampa.
Matter of fact, it's probably right, and there's probably fucking someplace with fucking Spider-Man actually exists. I guess.
Well, but in the movie, if you think about it that way, the reason why there are so many fucking Spider-Man is in the movie there's only one Spider-Man in one town at one time. But because there's this interdimensional experiment that goes on, it pulls all these Spider-Men from other dimensions to Earth. So you end up with Spider-Man Noir, who Nicolas Cage does the voice for, which is really fucking funny. Peter Parker, Spider-Gwen, who comes from a dimension where she's Spider-Man and Peter Parker is her friend and not a superhero at all. You get
that's cool,
dude. You get middle-aged sweatpants Spider-Man. And it was
don't get me wrong. I'm trying to convince my son to go see that movie. I want to see it.
You should go see it because it's not what you think. And I think a lot of times the writer in you and the creative side of you already have the whole movie fucking written out in your head. So you're like, fuck it. I don't need to see that.
Yeah. I'm definitely guilty of that. Definitely guilty of that. But no, it looked fun. I mean, when I saw the trailer, we were laughing during the trailer.
Dude, it's so well done.
And I'm trying to get Nicholas to go to it. He doesn't really even seem that interested to even go see it. So, if he's not into it, so I gotta go with you, I guess.
Well, then Lucas and I go to every one of those movies, so you're always welcome. I'll invite you next time. And maybe that'll make Nicholas want to come. But it's so well done. It's so fucking entertaining, and it's such a nice story too. And it's Miles Morales taking over for the other Spider-Man in our dimension because he dies, and I'm like, holy shit! And then this other guy comes out, but it's just so fucking well done, dude. It's so good. It's so good.
All right.
So
I have to check that out.
Absolutely worth it. And I think Aquaman is good too for a DC movie. Like I said, I think it's it. But then part of me is like,
good for a DC movie. Ouch.
Everything is. DC has always been notoriously kind of cheesy. You know, everything is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
Yeah,
it comes off as the characters aren't as deep, but I'll say that they do a lot more with the ones that we haven't seen a million times, I think, and I think it's a well done movie. I think it was entertaining. I'm still trying to process the whole thing. It's long, man. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's like it's a long movie.
Yeah,
but and then
seems
Dolph
to be the norm now.
And Dolph Lundgren is in it.
Oh, so you got to see it. Then.
It's awesome. And then Willem Dafoe is in it.
Willem Dafoe. He likes showing up in
Nicole Kidman,
movies.
Dude. It's crazy. And they youngified Nicole Kidman. And then also the other person that we brought up was the guy that played Jango Fett, that played all the clones in the Clone Wars.
Right.
He is the father. He's Aquaman's dad, and they youngify. I don't even know how to call it. Youngify. They make him young.
An Instagram filter.
It's kind of like an Instagram filter, yeah, but more extreme.
Okay.
Because they did it with Robert Downey Jr. in one of the Avengers movies, and then they did it with Michael Douglas, which is amazing because we saw young Michael Douglas, and then you're sitting here going, "Holy shit, that's fucking young Michael Douglas." They did it with Michelle Pfeiffer in the new Ant-Man movie. They were like, "That's Scarface Michelle Pfeiffer," and she's like, amazing. It's amazing.
She was hot in that movie.
Well, I always was a Gina fan. It just that was a weird relationship.
What was it?
Gina was his sister. Gina was his sister.
I don't remember Gina.
Do you don't remember Gina? It was Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio.
Well, she's certainly won me over with her name.
Yeah, it was a vowel at the end of the name. So, and she's got dark hair. So
that sounds like. I definitely would like her if I saw her, probably.
Because she was
because is she anything like Maria Conchita Alonso, who's also got 3 names?
Nothing like Maria Conchita Alonso.
Oh. She's hot too.
She's Latin now.
Okay.
The other one is like probably more Italian. So anyway, I was talking myself in and out of your whole infinite stuff, which was really killing me because
Why you talking yourself out of it? What do you
Well,
mean?
because I created this whole idea. It was like, well, you mentioned that the elements are infinite, but the brutal reality is in our universe, like the elements that we have like identified and mapped are like 5% of what makes up the universe. 67% of the universe is dark energy, which we can't even see. We have no idea
Right.
what makes it up. And then there's another 30 something percent that's dark matter.
Right.
Also shit we can't even see.
Right.
So how do those fit into that variable? So I went into this whole, but that ends up being way bigger, less infinite numbers of us because of the variable. That variable gets bigger.
Yeah. Well, they kind of think that they even know. Well, I haven't read enough about it, but the dark matter they were close to even seeing, right?
Mm.
Like,
They saw a bit of it. Yes.
Yeah, and that would just be one thing.
But is it? But I mean, how does it combine with the compounds that we know to make new compounds?
Well, I honestly think that there's some fundamental misunderstanding in physics.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I feel like
I think you need to elaborate on that.
No, our view of physics is completely warped on some observations that we're limited by our own senses, and we've used even ultraviolet and we have cameras that'll make up a great deal of. I mean, we can see X-rays, right? So, so it's not to do with just our visual spectrum, but I think even that spectrum is severely limited to what I think reality is. You know, kind of like if you were, like if you were living on a piece of paper, and there was or you were living underneath a piece of paper. And your sky was a piece of paper, and someone outside that whole realm of where you lived blew like a soap bubble, and that soap bubble landed on the paper. When you looked up at the paper, all you'd see is a dark circle.
Okay.
And I think that's our view of physics is like we're trying to measure that circle. We're trying to figure out what that circle is made out of. We're trying to but what we don't realize is that really what you're looking at is a bubble attached to a piece of paper.
On the other side.
So we're not. Yeah. So we're not. We have to step out of almost. I don't know what we have to step out of.
But that sounds like extra dimensional stuff you're talking about. Almost
Yeah,
like
it could
it's on
be
the backside of our.
It could be extra dimensional. Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree because I'm reading this book about the elements and how they were discovered from like the beginning, the first element, like I said, all the way back to like blacksmithing and like how they physically affected iron, you know, to get the impurities out of it and how they figured that out. And the blacksmiths were like the first chemists and that we ever really had, working everything up to, I'm all the way up to electromagnetism now. Right. Mm-hmm. But the thing that you realized throughout that whole course was there were people who had theories that were close, but that weren't 100% correct. And other people built on that work to focus it down to what ended up being a truth, right? They used to call oxygen fire, air, or whatever the fuck they used to call it. And they worked themselves up to understanding. I'm actually at the point now in the book where they're like, people don't even recognize that water is H2O. They just call it HO. They don't recognize that there are two, you know, molecules of hydrogen in a molecule of water. Or
two
atoms. Parts, two atoms, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe that's where we are. And you're right. We're limited by the technology, and then we're limited by our own senses, things that we can't even perceive with our...
Or even imagine. We're limited by our own minds.
I mean, and you're right. And I think that's a problem is we become... The scientists in this, they're not super... The really good scientists are philosophers, right? They're thinking outside of, right, the box, right there, because most of them were back in the day. But no, but I mean, I think I have a bunch of scientists in the building where I work who they try and they struggle to make more creative, but they're not creative thinkers. They're analytical thinkers.
Right. It
goes back to a technical person being able to think outside the box, right, and have that creative thinking to come to a conclusion of a problem.
That's a classic, though. Butting of the heads between philosophers and scientists.
Some of the
it's even a big part of the joke of Hitchhiker's Guide. And when you're trying to find out the answer to the universe, it's a question of science versus philosophy.
I mean, but I think you have to be right and left brain. And the most brilliant people that we've ever had have been both. I mean, I mean, we can all agree. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the most brilliant artistic and scientific minds that have ever been created. But the two sides were in sync with each other. You know, he was thinking about things in different ways, but understanding it on a higher plane. Right. This guy that discovered electromagnetism saw something that a million other people saw. But when he looked at it, for whatever reason, when he saw it, he was like,
he saw it differently,
completely differently. Yeah. And he was like, that's an observation. He goes, oh, when I run a current through this wire, it fucking makes this compass needle go crazy. That's because there's a magnetic field created when you run electricity through a conductive material.
Right.
Period. Everybody else was like, oh yeah, it fucking does that. Like they noted it, right? They noted it, but he went and goes, yeah, this is why.
Well, we have to understand that, right?
Yeah. But it takes those people to bring it to the Stephen Hawkings, right? Those are the guys who are thinking the big thoughts, but more in a, like I said, there's even a point where mathematics becomes so, there's a super abstract theoretical mathematics. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no theory, like there's no like inconsistency with that. Like math is math. 7 + 5 = 12 every time. Well, but not when it equals 11.123. I mean, even in electrical theory.
Well, there's a question of what if we're all just jerking each other off?
Well,
what if 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4? Who the fuck are we? I mean, like, there's mathematical proofs, but you're proving it using the same mathematical system that you used to come up with 2 + 2 = 4. So, you know.
Maybe our kids, with their new math, they'll be able to change the whole thing up.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
that's a crazy question.
It always blew my mind in electrical theory because I did a lot of that when I went to school. And they were like, oh, well, when you bias this transistor, it needs to be like positive and then negative and then more negative. And you're like, okay. You know, and you think about
holy shit, you did this with your
I
hand?
fucking mangled it. I mangled that beer cap, the bottle cap. But it's like, so like 12 volts is like positive and like 11 volts is negative compared to 12 volts. And then like 10.5 volts is more negative than 11 volts. But you're like, your brain is like, what? You're like, what the fuck does that all mean? And I mention this now like it means something because that's all solid state stuff and it's completely irrelevant now. It's something anybody ever uses. But from a theoretical perspective, you're like, holy shit, what the fuck are we talking about here?
I was about to ask you, what the fuck what are we talking about right now? What solid state what?
Solid state electronic devices. Like transistors and diodes.
Oh, you're talking about binary electronics? Like you're talking about the different voltages counting as on, off and on in
more
a
or
logic
less,
circuit?
Yeah, like a Boolean logic circuit that you could use transistors and diodes.
How did we get to Boolean logic?
I don't know. I'm really a dork.
No, you're not.
Does this look like a naked woman?
Yeah, that map was a little. Well, it looks like a one-eyed naked woman. Looks like Squidward.
It does kind of look like Squidward with one nipple and one eye.
One nipple, one eye.
I forget.
So speaking of Squidward,
yep.
I don't know. What do you have? Do you have anything else? Or should we get? I don't know how far.
How long have we been?
We're almost like an hour and a half, and we need to do our role playing. You still down to do it tonight?
Oh, no, we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're gonna.
All right. Okay.
So do I have anything else I wanted to talk about? On my list here, I have a really weird article about the Canadian government seized $20,000 worth of stolen maple syrup. Did you hear this story?
No, I stuck a sour cream cookie in my mouth.
We can all tell. This is great for me. It's just I'm going to get to talk for 5 minutes while I chew on this cookie.
Go ahead.
So yeah, it was. I saw this on my Amazon, my Echo Show Alexa, and it was like, oh, ask the maple syrup story. I'm like, oh yeah, somebody apparently stole $20,000 worth of maple syrup. I'm like, how much syrup is that for 20? I mean, I go buy
someone's playing too much Red Dead Redemption.
Something, yeah.
Because that sounds like a mission in Red Dead.
It does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I stole.
You come grab a couple of barrels of maple syrup.
Well,
from Old Man McGovern. What's a Canadian name?
A Canadian name? That's so racist. I don't even know what to do with that.
Wait a minute, Canadian name.
I
What's
didn't-
not racist? What's racist about a Canadian name?
I don't think there's any kind of name that I would say it's more Canadian than our names. Would you?
Our names aren't Canadian.
Okay, but well, I mean, I don't think there'd be like an Italian, like somebody with a vowel at the end of their name up there. But what kind of names do Canadians have in Canada?
Gretzky, Lemieux.
See, that's stereotyping things. That's hockey names. They're all hockey players.
Lafleur.
Okay, those are French names.
French Canadians.
So-
So French on the French side.
So Lafitte, like
Right.
Jean Lafitte,
Guy.
would be Guy.
Mhm.
But I don't think all Canadians are that French, though. I mean, I think like around like
That's around
Calgary,
Montreal.
like
Yeah.
Montreal is probably more
Um,
Canadian.
We're talking like
This is where we
Canadian
lose like
accent.
6 followers after this
Canadian
episode goes
accent.
live.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get into the RPG. No. Oh wait, you were asking a question.
I
What
was
was
just
the question?
talking about how
What was the
much
question?
syrup is $20,000
Oh.
worth of syrup.
3.2 barrels.
That's it.
I don't know.
It's like a huge commodity up there then. For 20,000.
Maple syrup is expensive.
Is it?
Yeah,
I mean, I got buy like a bottle of it all the time for my kids. It's like
log
lasts like
cabin. Log
forever.
cabin is not log cabin.
I buy it. I think we buy it at Sam's Club.
Is it the pure maple syrup, like
Yeah.
real maple syrup?
It's real good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, good. So your kids eat. That's better that they eat that.
But we have like 2 of them. It's like $13 for 2 of them. That's what I'm saying. How many
It's
of those?
real maple syrup.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't have to look at
Because
it.
I know, like they pull that shit with honey too. People think honey. Well, that was good.
Sorry. I tried to
Oh.
burp inward.
Inward, yeah. No, I mean, I enjoyed it.
In all of its resonance.
I think that they have the problem with honey, where it's not really honey.
What is it?
They just like it's just tons of sweetener. Yeah, like not good.
But what about okay? I'm hoping local honey is real honey.
Yeah, local honey, raw local honey is your best bet. But if you buy Golden Blossom honey,
Yeah, like
it
the
probably
honey in the
it
bear.
came from like we can't get. I don't think we can get honey from China anymore because it's been verified fake. So what they do is they push it into like Canada, and we bring it in from Canada.
Oh, those fucking Canadians.
They're fucking
God
smart.
damn.
But I'm going to open a new beer, and maybe we'll start the. Did you have an answer to the 20,000?
No, I don't. I just was thinking
$1
how much
so you're
syrup
just
was. But
fucking-
you're saying that
You're
it's
just
it's-
grabbing us by the balls and leading us around.
That's pretty much. Isn't that what we always do?
All
We'll
right.
deal with this next episode.
Okay,
We got
it was a grade A, grade B, amber, dark amber.
That's
What
what
was
I'm
it?
saying.
What were
How
we
much?
talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Is it like 3 kegs of? They said $20,000. Like it was this huge. It seemed like a big number for syrup, but you're saying this is a huge commodity. So that's
Yeah.
like you said, it's like a barrel and a half.
Probably.
But it's a big deal up there.
Because I think that to cook down maple syrup, I think it's like 50 to 1 or something. Like
So
I think
they cut
50 gallons of sap
They cut it
becomes
like
1
cocaine.
gallon of cocaine.
Yeah, they're
1
like-
gallon of syrup.
They cut it like cocaine. So it's like
No,
You
but-
could take a barrel and cut it into
No, but
12 barrels.
The sap that they boil off, that's how much they have to reduce it, like a 50 to 1 to get actual maple syrup.
So you think they stole the raw maple
No,
syrup?
that would be tankards worth. I'm saying that's why it's so expensive.
Oh, okay. I don't
Because
know.
you need 50. Anything you need 50 of to make 1 of, it's going to be expensive.
I mean, I know the agave tequila, the agave nectar for the tequila is like that. There's a run on that shit. Then I guess maple syrup is next.
I mean, there's a run on it.
I don't know.
We should be stocking the bunker with
We
agave.
should. Well, I saw you have your agave garden in the back that you have the hydroponic thing on, which I think is cool because it means more tequila for us.
Exactly.
We're not eating it. That's a pure pleasure crop back there. But Nick has an extensive underground, like a hydroponic garden down here.
Yeah, the
The-
Arrow Garden.
Yeah, no, the biggest it's all vertical. It goes vertical though more than horizontal. So it's a huge cavernous area that he's
Oh yeah,
chiseled out by
yeah,
hand.
It's a bunker within a bunker.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's and the sun lamps are ridiculous. I don't even know
Yeah,
how we're going to
the
power
heat,
those.
The heat it puts off is
It is. Well, that's good though because your neighbors don't need heat in their houses 3 acres away.
No, they don't.
So that's good too.
They could-
It's geothermal.
Yeah, it's totally geothermal. and it's fucking with the magnetic field of the Earth slightly.
Not to start a new topic, but have you seen the Matt Damon downsizing movie yet?
No, we started it. We were like 3 minutes in, and something happened.
What do you mean something happened?
I don't remember.
Like
I'm serious. Like I remember we
like
started it, and something happened.
you lost network, or somebody got injured,
or like something distracted us, like something with the kids, or something. James woke up, or something like that, and then we just maybe fell asleep or something.
Yeah, I mean it's entertaining.
I'm not knocking the movie. We just did. I remember trying to watch it,
and it's not going to change your life, but there's some interesting bunkery things in that are worth watching. So,
all right,
you should check it out.
I'll check that. Anything with a bunker in it.
Yeah, there's a bunker. Get to a bunker part.
All right, so people should, I guess, follow us on Twitter. Doomsday Doopy-Doo. The website, doomsdaydoopydoo.com. Send us an email at doomsdaydoopydoo@gmail.com, and that is not our YouTube account, so don't even try it.
Don't try to hack us, motherfuckers. Actually, I challenge you to hack us. Please hack us. I want to be hacked.
Don't forget to leave us a review on anywhere, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you hear us, iTunes.
Rate us 5 stars and leave us a bad review.
Leave us a bad review. Thanks a lot, Chris. And what else? Dave, wear that fucking $200 shirt. That's it.
Why did it have to be Dave of all people?
Why? What's wrong with a Dave?
I don't know. Of all people, just Dave. It's just like,
why? There's nothing wrong with Dave.
No. There's everything wrong with Dave, and there's nothing wrong with Dave at the same time.
Okay. on that note, folks.
All right.
Stay tuned. Following week will be the RPG episode, which we'll see if I live, because I almost died last time.
Yep.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Later, fuckers.